What's up guys, it's Robin here, and today this video is going to be my set 5 comp list video. So I'm going to be going over all the comps in the game right now, basically telling you like what's the core of each comp, what are other units you can play with the comp with the core units, what are the best in slot items for the carries. This video is mostly going to be about like the late game boards that you're going to see and the different units that you play in the comp. I will say for this set, it's a little bit different because there's not a lot of comps where you play like a set like 6, 7, or 8 units. This set has a lot of 2, 3, 4 traits where you can literally tech in whatever you hit or whatever's good in the lobby. For most of these comps, you're going to be playing about 2 to 3 core units, and then the rest of the board is literally whatever you hit or whatever is good, whatever is your strongest board, whatever you hit on your roll down, and whatever's best for the lobby. Whether you have to tech in Ironclad, you have to tech in Mystic, stuff like that. So it's going to be very, very different, I feel like, with other sets. I would say like a common, like you can compare these comps to maybe Slayers from set 4.5, where the Slayer comp, you literally play 3 Slayers plus whatever else you can hit, right? So it's kind of similar to that. And more like most of these comps are going to be played like Slayers from set 4.5. And without further ado, let's get right into the comp list. So I separated the comp list into 3 separate categories. AP comps, AD comps, and then other comps, which right now I only have assassins, but I'm pretty sure there are going to a lot of other comps might show up when set 5 launches. So the first comp I'm going to be talking about is the VELKOZ carry comp. So for VELKOZ carry, basically the core units is going to be VELKOZ plus ZYRA and then friends. So basically the core is literally VELKOZ, ZYRA, and then the other units you literally play whatever you can hit. There are some units I usually play most of the time, but they can honestly be replaced by anything. Even ZYRA can be replaced by anything. But ZYRA is basically the best spellweaver you can play with VELKOZ, but you can easily play Victor or Brand as well. But ZYRA is by far like it's way better than Brand and Victor, especially in the late game. So here is what the sample board of what VELKOZ comp looks like. Basically for VELKOZ, you wanna the item you absolutely need is Shojin. Without VELKOZ without Shojin is not a unit. VELKOZ is mostly going to cast when the fight is over. So you absolutely need Shojin, and then the other item you kind of need is an AP item, whether that be Jeweled Gauntlet or Rabadons. They both work. And then, you know, try to get chalices on units that's next to VELKOZ. And in this case, it's going to be Syndra. And then any tank items you just put on your front line. So let's look at the core, right? So literally, we'll take all these units out. The core is literally ZYRA and VELKOZ, okay? And then the other units, you just play whatever you hit. But most of the time, you do want to put in the Ivern and Volibear. If you hit Volibear and Ivern, you definitely want to play it. It's one of the strongest combos in the game right now because you get Revenant, so they both get free GA, and then Ivern and Volibear are just completely busted. I personally really like to play Syndra in this comp because Syndra is actually the counter. A lot of people play Diana right now or Viego, and then Syndra is actually the counter to Diana and Viego. It'll protect your VELKOZ from all assassins. So Syndra is like extremely good in this comp. You can round out the redeemed with Rel. Usually I'm always playing Rel because Rel is an extremely good unit and it also gives you the redeem trait. But instead of Rel, you can also play Lux. Lux is also an extremely good champion that's redeemed. You can get the 3 redeemed. If you have Lux, you can tech in a Mystic. You know, depending on the lobby. Let's say it's like an AP heavy lobby and you need to play Mystic. Then you can play the Kindred. You can play the Rise for 3 Mystic. You can play, you know, Lulu for Mystic, stuff like that. That could be teched in. Garen is also good for this comp. Just an overall really strong champion, and it also cuts MR for your team because your team is very AP based. You could play, if you hit Taric, you know, you could play Taric, which is also a strong champion. It gives Knight to Garen. You know, if the lobby is AD heavy, we can take out the Lux. If the lobby is AD heavy, we could play, you know, a Rel plus Nautilus plus Jax to get the 3 Ironclad. So basically, hopefully you guys get the idea where the core is basically VELKOZ, and literally every other champion is basically depends on what you hit and the lobby, right? Like you're taking in Ironclads, you're taking in Mystics. Usually you do want to have 3 redeemed, and the 3 redeemed I like to run is Syndra and Rel. Don't be afraid to play Lux for the 4 redeemed. It doesn't like it's Lux is still a really great unit, so don't worry too much about, oh, I have 4 redeemed, I can drop 1 redeemed for something else. Lux is just generally a very strong unit. And then yeah, just make sure it's going to be revolved around VELKOZ and Spellweaver, which is most likely ZYRA. The next comp I want to be talking about is the Karma carry comp. So very similar to the VELKOZ carry comp. I think the comp is essentially the same, except you're going to be carrying Karma. And in this case, Karma needs blue buff and instead of Shojin. So what I like to do is, if I end up getting blue buff early game, I'll probably commit more towards Karma. But then if I have Shojin early game, I'll commit more towards VELKOZ. That's how I like to play the game right now. So let's take a look at the Karma board. So the Karma board looks very similar to the VELKOZ board, except you're playing around Karma. So then the traits will be a little bit different. So this is a sample Karma board. Basically, the only core unit I would say in this comp is basically Karma. You want to have a blue buff on Karma for sure. You want to have an AP item like Rabadon's or Jeweled Gauntlet. The third item is Flex. Gunblade is good, so you can keep healing. You know, more AP is good. Rabadon's Jeweled Gauntlet. So, you know, a defensive item is good, like GA, Trap Claw, stuff like that. They're all pretty good. But core, I think, is blue buff for sure, and then an AP item. So in this comp, I actually really like to play for Invoker. I like to play Syndra like in VELKOZ comp to protect against assassins, and then I like to play Ivern and Volibear just like every other like AP comp. And then if you have Ivern, Syndra, and Karma, you already have 3 Invokers. So if you can get a Teemo in, you can get 4 Invokers, and it's actually really strong. Also, I like to play Heimerdinger in this comp. You know, you get the for the Renewer buff on with Ivern, which is pretty strong as well. You know, you're playing Garen. In every AP comp, you do want to play Garen. And then, you know, you can just play this Rel because Rel is a good unit. But, you know, you could easily take out Teemo and Heimer. You know, you can, if it's 80, if it's an 80 heavy lobby, you can play Jax and Nautilus for 3 Ironclad. If it's an AP heavy lobby, you know, you could play Lux plus Rise for Mystic. You can even take out this Rel here and play a Kindred for, you know, even more Mystic. Something like this. And just frontline Volibear and Garen. You know, let's say you don't hit the Volibear and Ivern. You know, you can play, let's say you hit Taric. You can play Taric with Garen. You know, it's not as good, but you're going to be playing what you hit. We could play the Rel here to get 3 redeemed onto the Lux and Syndra. It's totally fine. Let's say you don't get Garen here. You know, most likely probably end up playing Nautilus and then for the 2 Ironclad. So as you can see, the core is going to be Karma, and then you literally play like whatever. But I can say that you do really want to get the Ivern and Volibear, because that this duo is just broken late game, and their tags are like so good, especially Ivern for Karma comp. You know, you can, if you're playing Ivern, you can drop the Syndra, and then you can just play, you know, more Mystic. You can play Ironclad. You can play Morgana here for Mystic. You know, you can do whatever. You can play Soraka for Renewer, and if you have Garen, you get the Dawnbringer for Garen. It's very similar to the VELKOZ comp, except you're playing around Karma. So you just use use Karma's traits to instead of VELKOZ's trait. VELKOZ is Spellweaver, so you're gonna be playing another Spellweaver, and then Karma is Invoker or Dawnbringer, so you're gonna be wanting to play a Dawnbringer and Invoker. Oh yeah, a key thing to know for this comp is that you're probably not gonna hit Garen. You might not hit Garen every game. So if you don't hit Garen, you do want to play the Soraka, because Dawnbringer is actually extremely important. It makes it so that Karma can never get one shot. So it's actually really good. It's like kind of like a free GA. But you do want to be playing the Soraka, but when you hit a Garen, you can drop Soraka for Garen. The next comp is the Draconic ZYRA comp. At the time of me making this video, I did see a patch notes that ZYRA was getting nerfed. So I don't know if this comp is going to be still playable, but I'm pretty sure it still is. Basically, this comp revolves around 3 Draconic that you probably get early mid-game, and then you play around carrying ZYRA. It's also very similar to the VELKOZ Karma comp. I would say all the AP comps are pretty similar, but then just the carry, just the core is like a little bit different. So here is like an example board of the ZYRA carry comp. Basically, the three Draconics you're going to be playing, you're not going to get Heimer every time that soon, right? So most likely you're going to be playing Set. And this is going to look at your board. Basically, ZYRA is your main carry. Items pretty much the same as VELKOZ. Shojin is needed. and then you want to have AP items like Jeweled Gauntlet, Rabadon, stuff like that. I will say that ZYRA doesn't need Shojin as bad as VELKOZ. You can get away with blue buff. You can get away with like just like Hodge, stuff like that. But Shojin is extremely good in this comp. But you do want to be playing around Set, Ashe, and ZYRA as your 3 Draconic. And then you basically just fill in the rest of the units. You do want to be playing a Spellweaver with ZYRA. So most of the time it's going to be VELKOZ. But you can easily play Brand or Victor if you don't hit the VELKOZ too. 2 Spellweaver. And then you do want to be... again, I like to play Syndra to counter Assassins. It's an AP comp, so you want to be playing Garen. You're playing the Ivern Volibear combo. You're playing Rel for the Redeemed. So, you can take out Rel for Taric. You can take out, Garen and Ivern Volibear to put in Mystic, Rise, Morgana, Lux, whatever. Just whatever you hit and whatever's good for the lobby. When you get Heimerdinger, you do want to sell the set and play Heimerdinger. Let me get back the most capped comps. So it's probably like Garen, Ivern, and definitely Volibear. Something like this. Maybe drop the Rel and play the Lux, because Lux probably has better tags. So in the late game, when the game's about to end, you don't need to play 3 Draconic. You just need to play ZYRA. So you can drop the Ashe and play a better unit. In this case, if you need Mystic, you can play Kindred for Mystic with Lux. You can take out Lux, you can take out the Mystics, and you can play Teemo plus Karma for 4 Invoker. So like, whatever your strongest board is. So those are the 3 like main AP comps in the game right now. I would say like whenever you get like a AP start, like you get like a Lissandra opener or a Vladimir opener or a Kalista opener, and you end up slamming Shojin or blue buff, then I would definitely try to play one of these comps. You're not going to be playing an AD comp if you slam Shojin most of the time, if you slam blue buff, stuff like that. So next, I'm going to be moving on to the AD comps. The 2 main AD comps is going to revolve around APHELIOS and DRAVEN. So for APHELIOS, I feel like APHELIOS is a little bit easier to play compared to the AP comps, because APHELIOS, it has more set units than the AP comps. So the core for APHELIOS is going to be APHELIOS, Diana, Lee Sin, and Morgana. And you replace Lee Sin when you hit the Darius. That's going to be the 4 Nightbringers that you're always playing. You also always want to be playing Kindred, because it's the best sharpshooter and has a Mystic tag. And then, so that's 5 units, 5 core units, and then the next 3 or 4 units, you're just going to tech in whatever you hit. So here I have the 5 core units that goes into APHELIOS comp. And then depending on what you hit and what the lobby is, you can play whatever. So what I mean by that is, like, let's say like the lobby's AD heavy, you can play Rel plus Nautilus for Ironclad, right? You can also just play a Lux for, if the lobby's AP heavy, you can play a Lux for 3 Mystic. If you hit a Viego, you can play Viego. It gives Diana your assassin. Let's say you drop the Lux. Let's say you hit a Mordekaiser too. You can play Mordekaiser. You get a Dragonslayer with the Diana. Maybe you don't need Ironclad. You just drop the Nautilus, and then you play. You can even play 4 Rangers. So Ashe plus Varus, something like this. So basically just plug and play. But I would say the core units is going to be these 4 Nightbringer plus Kindred, basically. And the best 4 Nightbringer is going to be Darius, Morgana, Diana, and APHELIOS. For the items, I actually don't like to itemize APHELIOS in this comp. What I like to do is get the... I like to slam in early... I like to slam a Morello and GA and itemize for Morgana instead. Morgana is actually a really good carry for this comp. And she also can carry early mid-game really hard. GA Morello on Morgana is extremely good. Diana is extremely good with Frozen Heart, and Frozen Heart is also a very good early game item, so I like to slam Frozen Heart whenever I can early game. And then APHELIOS just gets the leftover like AD bow items that you can make. Best of slot in APHELIOS, I have no idea, but basically you're not going to be building best of slot for APHELIOS. Most of the time you're going to just be slamming whatever you can, whether that be Quinzus, BT, Runons, IE, Dark IE, Deathblade, Dark Deathblade, Dark Winsus, Dark BT. Just put whatever 80 items you can on APHELIOS. The last spots, you can even play Ivern and Volibear, like the AP comps. You can tech in a Teemo, you can tech in a Heimer, you can tech in a Taric. Very flexible. Next comp is the Draven carry comp. So the Draven, very similar to the Aphelios. It has probably a little bit more core units, and then you just tech in whatever you can, depending on the lobby. So the core unit is going to be Draven, Mordekaiser to give Legionnaire to Draven, because Mordekaiser is the best Legionnaire unit to give to pair with Draven. And you want to play Rise, because Rise is the best Forgotten unit you can play with Draven. And then I like to play Thresh a lot to round out the 3 Forgotten. You sub out the Thresh for Viego when you hit Viego. Thresh is actually super good, and if people don't position for Thresh, he can actually just straight up win a fight. So Thresh is actually extremely good. So here is like a sample board of the Draven comp. The core, let me just put in the core units, right? So take out Kindred, Viego, and Diana, Taric, Darius. So basically Draven, I do want to play a Thresh. So basically this is the core. You play Mordekaiser for Legionnaire with Draven, and then you play Thresh, Rise, and Draven for the Forgotten. What's a very common unit that you play with this board is going to be Diana, because Diana you get a free Dragonslayer with Mordekaiser, and also Diana is just a busted unit. When you get Viego subs in for Thresh, and you get the Assassin buff, and then the rest of the units, I've said it a million times in this video, but depends on the lobby. If you need Mystic, put in the Lux, put in the Morgana, put in the Lulu, put in the Kindred. If you need Ironclad, put in the Rel, put in the Jax, put in the Nautilus. You can put in the Ivern Volibear combo. You can put in Taric. Darius is also extremely good for this comp because it shreds armor and it gives Nightbringer to your Diana. Just remember that the core is going to be Draven, Rise, and Mordekaiser. And one more Forgotten. Best in slot Draven. I also have no idea. Very similar to Aphelios. I always slam the AD attack speed items on Draven. But items such as RFC is really good because Draven has low range. So RFC makes him not move. Guinsoo's is good for attack speed ramp. BT is good for lifesteal. IE is good for damage. Runons is good for more damage. Dark IE is good for damage, stuff like that. So best in slot, who knows, but just put whatever AD and AD or attack speed items you end up building. The last comp I'm gonna be talking about is Assassins. So Assassins, you can either carry Katarina or Nocturne, just depending on what items you end up getting. Here is the board for Assassin comp. I put the items on Nocturne and Katarina, but most likely you're only going to be having one. So basically you play 6 Sins, and then you do want to be playing the Ivern and Volibear because you round out the 3 Revenant with Nocturne, which is extremely strong. And Ivern and Volibear is already enough frontline all the frontline that you need. Best in slot Katarina is going to be blue buff, IE, JG, in my opinion. And then Nocturne, you just give him any attack speed 80 items, or So IE, Guinsoo's, BT, Runons, very similar to Draven and Aphelios. Basically, for this comp, you stay at 7 and you roll for Katarina 3 or Nocturne 3, and then you move on. So hitting the Volibear is actually super high roll, but you do want to be playing the Ivern for the Revenant. In this comp, you could drop LeBlanc and Kha'Zix, drop down to 4 Sins, and play better units. So you can round out the Forgotten, with like Rise, and then you can play like a Mystic. You can play a Kindred for Mystic, or you can play Mordekaiser to give Dragonslayer with Diana. You could drop these two. You could play Rel plus Nautilus for Ironclad. So I would say the core unit is just going to be these 4 Sins here. If you don't have Viego, you're obviously going to be playing the LeBlanc. If you don't have Viego yet, you can play Hecarim and plus Rise for the 3 Forgotten. Hecarim's also an extremely good frontliner, solo frontliner. You can take out the Rise and just play Thresh. Thresh is also a good unit. But basically just round out your traits when you have the 4 Sins. That's it for my comps guide for set 5. This is just the so set 5 has not even launched yet, so I'm making this all from playing PvE. So I'm positive there's going to be more comps that are not going to be included in this video, but I am pretty sure that this is a very solid foundation of how set 5 is going to look like. If you can master how to play around VELKOZ, Karma, ZYRA, Aphelios, Draven, and Assassins, you will have the bulk of this set down. There maybe is like a Mordekaiser carry comp, a Diana carry comp, you know, Ivern carry comp, who knows, that might pop up in the future. But I am positive that these 6 comps will be relevant throughout set 5.